The South China Sea is part of the Pacific Ocean that is surrounded by many East Asian countries. China and Taiwan are to the north, Vietnam is to the east, Malaysia is to the south, and the Philippines and Brunei are to the west. Over half of the world's annual merchant ship tonnage goes through this sea, equivalent to over $5.3 trillion of trade. The sea is also responsible for 10% of the fish caught worldwide. The primary causes of pollution come from untreated sewage and waste from coastal cities and rivers, industrial waste from factories, exhaust from the thousands of boats that travel the water, and oil drilling. Recently, land reclamation was added to the list after it was discovered they destroy coral reefs. This pollution negatively affects the livelihood and the standard of living for everybody in the area. Now let's take a look at China. The South China Sea has been a point of contention for the countries that surround it. China has tried claiming several of the island chains in the sea, such as the Spratlys Islands. China has also built many man-made islands as a part of their reclamation project. While the islands have their political issues, the pollution of sea from Chinese coastal cities and rivers has negatively affected the area. One highly polluted river that runs into the South China Sea is the Pearl River. The river is polluted with heavy metals, suspended solids, and organic pollutants. The heavy metal pollution is not specific to the Pearl River and is a huge issue for the people of China. It not only helps pollute the freshwater river, but it pollutes the fish from the rivers and sea. This kills many of the fish, and those that do not die and become seafood can poison consumers. According to Interpress Service, levels of lead detected in shellfish were 50% above normal, while cadmium and DDT levels were about 40% higher. Over the past couple years, China has implemented laws to reduce the pollution into the South China Sea. In 2015, China adopted a domestic emission control area, also known as DECA, which required ships to switch to cleaner fuel. China also is looking to pass a pollution tax law, which would heavily tax companies and people who pollute the air and water in China. While actions have been taken recently to reduce pollution, it will still be decades before the effects of these actions take place. The Philippines are one of the countries spearheading the contention of the Spratlys Islands with China. One of the major reasons is due to the effect man-made islands have on the coral reefs in the area, which in turn affects the seafood supply in the Philippines. China's reclamation projects have destroyed 311 hectares of coral reefs and pegs in the area. Increased settlement of these man-made islands will also bring an increase to the amount of human waste dumped into the South China Sea. The Filipino province of Palawan is responsible for 20% of fish production for the Philippines and is threatened by the destruction of coral reefs and fish of the man-made islands that are not too far away. The Philippines also have pollution problems close to home. Like China, there is heavy pollution in rivers that dump waste into the South China Sea and hurt their surrounding areas. Of all the countries in the South China Sea, China has the most influence. They could serve as a beacon to other nations when it comes to reducing pollution. If China can effectively reduce waste from its cities and rivers into the sea, it could inspire the other nations to follow suit. The South China Sea is one of the most important waterways in the world. It supports a massive amount of global trade and also provides a livelihood for many individuals as well. The continued destruction of the region will have massive negative implications for years to come.